2004 of the role he was most famous for, that of George W. Bush's vice president.
And good morning and welcome to the Tuesday, November 4th edition of the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. Here with me this morning. Our special guest is Arthur Havlicek. He is the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber CEO and president. And thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Ken.
Yeah, absolutely. So you said that you have a bucket list item, and one of them was to be broadcasting on Election Day.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you.
Why is that a bucket list item for you?
Well, the entire country watches on Election Day, waiting to see the results come in, and something I've done my whole life.
Yeah.
So you always wonder what it's like to be sitting on this side instead of on the couch.
Yeah, no, it's election days are fun, especially in newsrooms. I say fun; they're long.
Yeah.
This is not going to be that bad because it's an off-year election. So we've got, but we do have a handful of important issues.
Absolutely.
On the ballot this time around, and so polls are now open. At least according to the clocks, 7 o'clock is when they open, and they go until 8 p.m. this evening. If you have a ballot, a paper ballot at home, like an absentee ballot, you can drop that off until 8 o'clock tonight. Or if you're one of those that goes in person, do you go in person?
Absolutely.
Yeah. How's your experience? Has it been good?
It's always smooth. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a voter in St. Joseph Township. They do a great job.
Okay. Good. Very good. And then let's see the breaking news this morning. Dick Cheney, former vice president for the United States, passed away. He was 84, surrounded by family. The family put out a statement saying he passed away peacefully. I don't know. You asked off air if he was sick. I don't know. 84 seems like a relatively young age this day and age.
Days. Yeah.
Especially if you're vice president, you get some pretty good health care.
Absolutely. And that was this morning?
That was this morning.
Oh.
Well, this morning we received the announcement. Yeah, the announcement was released this morning, so I don't know exactly the timing of it yet. We're seeing a lot of the prepared obituaries come out from the news organization, so I'm sure when we get more detail on it, we'll have it. He was born Richard Bruce Cheney, January 30th, 1941, in Lincoln, Nebraska. Yeah. So, all right. Let's see. What else do we have in the news this morning? It's unfortunate. It'll be interesting to see because he was one who was polarizing at the time that he was vice president, especially around the Iraq War.
Yes.
And then after he left, he became polarizing again because he was very much opposed to Donald Trump becoming president.
Correct. Very outspoken.
Yeah.
I think he'll be, as controversial as he was, folks like him will be probably remembered as consequential, right? That's the word I tend to use. Polarizing is a polarizing word, but consequential is a word that I think will be used to describe.
You think history will be kind to him?
Depends. I think when you look back and you factor in everything with the benefit of hindsight, you tend to give a little bit more grace.
Yeah. He said he voted for Kamala Harris. So interesting. Okay. All right. We're going to talk this hour with Arthur Havlicek. Congratulations on some great announcements that the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber has had.
Thank you.
Including the Niles Partnership. In a nutshell, what is that?
So the Greater Niles Chamber of Commerce has served the Greater Niles area for over 100 years. Really strong chamber down there that has served that community. And for a while they had been affiliated with a chamber out of Indiana.
Yeah.
That relationship was sunset, so they were looking for another partnership. We were approached and essentially were able to strike a deal that somewhat unifies the county with two of the largest chambers. And what that does effectively is gives us about 1,000 members and allows us to compete as one.
Okay, we'll talk about that in detail in a few moments. We've got to get on for some local news here. It's 7:04. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning and welcome to Election Day Tuesday. Make sure that you get out and vote. We'll be right back.
Get up to $5,000 and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WSJM News now. Team coverage from the WSJM newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
7:05, good morning and welcome to the WSJM Morning Show for Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. It is Election Day and the polls are officially open. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Weather forecast for today does call for partly sunny skies, a 20% chance of showers, a high around 58, and southwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 47. The wind is going to pick up to 25 miles per hour. Wednesday, partly sunny, another chance of showers and a high around 60, and winds out of the southwest gusting to 35 miles per hour. The temperature right now in Benton Harbor is 43. In St. Joseph, holding out at 48 degrees. In New Buffalo, it's 41. And in Dowagiac right now, cloudy skies and 37 degrees. We have a special guest in studio. It's Arthur Havlicek from the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber. We'll be talking with him this hour about a number of different things, including being the president and CEO of one of the largest chamber business groups in the state of Michigan. The largest?
One of
the largest.
We're on the edge of the top 10.
It's not a competition, Arthur. Come on.
Well,
all right.
It is a vanity metric.
We'll talk about that and what that means and how that's going to benefit Southwest Michigan. That's all coming up in just a few moments. You can hear it on the radio, snippets of it on the radio, but you can hear the full, unedited, unfiltered conversation. It's going to be on the video live stream on YouTube, on Facebook, and on our WSJM Smart app. It is Election Day in Southwest Michigan, and polls are now open. Voters have several key local proposals to decide. Lake Michigan College is seeking 2 millage renewals, one of them at half its current rate. St. Joseph and Eau Claire public schools they're asking voters to approve some bond proposals. Several townships also have ballot questions, and city races are being decided in a number of areas, including St. Joseph, Benton Harbor, South Haven, Hartford, and Gobles. Polls are open until 8 o'clock this evening. Voters must show a photo ID or sign an affidavit to cast a ballot. Results will be posted as we receive them at WSJM.com, and we'll have a full recap tomorrow morning right here on the WSJM Morning Show. Other news, in Allegan County, a section of southbound US 131 is closed until further notice after a semi-truck hauling heavy machinery hit an overpass last night. The Allegan County Sheriff's Office says it happened around 5:50 p.m. near 146th Avenue. When the load struck the bridge, no one was hurt in the crash, but MDOT crews determined the overpass did sustain substantial damage. As a result, southbound US 131 is closed from 100th Street to 142nd Avenue until further notice. Drivers are being asked to find alternate routes while repairs are made. Food pantries in Southwest Michigan are responding to higher demand amid uncertainty about federal food assistance. Bob Murphy with Neighbor by Neighbor in Union Pier says the group issued an appeal for donations last week as he's seen the need grow.
So people reacted to that in a big way. On Thursday, we had over 30 boxes delivered by Amazon. On Friday, it was over 40 boxes were delivered. And then we had just some other, just people in the community dropping off products, food that they bought at Aldi or one of the other local groceries.
The Trump administration announced yesterday that SNAP benefits will be cut in half instead of being paused entirely after a court ruling. Murphy says the impact will still be significant.
It was better than nothing, but people are still going to be getting a lot less than they're used to getting. You may know that a family of 4 gets over $700 in SNAP benefits every month, and that being cut in half or even less, just really, really incredibly difficult.
Neighbor by Neighbor has an Amazon wish list for those who want to help, and Murphy says the need extends beyond what people might expect. Berrien County Historical Association Director Rhiannon Sisson is stepping down after 6 years with that organization. Her last day will be November 23rd. Sisson says when she joined, the association was struggling, and she's proud of how far it's come.
I was given the responsibility to save the institution from potential insolvency and to build up our relevancy in the community again. And I think I've done that. A lot of renovations physically at the museum, exhibit updates, modernizations. We've done over 180 programs. We've done over 20 exhibits.
She says one highlight has been working with other local organizations and engaging younger audiences.
I've gotten an opportunity to meet so many wonderful people here in Berrien County, many who are just as passionate about history as I am. I have developed wonderful relationships with our sister institutions, with many businesses, giving organizations, and partners.
Sisson will become the executive director of the Grissom Air Museum in Indiana when she leaves Berrien County. An interim director will be announced soon, and a search for a permanent replacement will begin next year. It's 7:10. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. I'm Ken Lundberg. A special guest this morning we'll be talking with this hour, Arthur Havlicek, the president and CEO of the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber. Good morning, Arthur. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Tell us, our listeners here, what's new? What's happening at the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber?
Well, a couple things. The most topical today is that the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber came out and endorsed LMC's millage renewals.
That's right.
That are on the ballot today. Yeah. LMC is one of our foremost economic development partners, a great asset to the community, critical to a skilled workforce in our region. And so we're proud to come out and support what we believe are very fair requests.
Yeah, talk a little bit about the decision to come out and endorse the millage renewal requests. What was that conversation like?
Sure. So our chamber has a government affairs committee that sets or makes recommendations to the full board, which then approves that recommendation and issues an official endorsement. And what we did was we essentially presented a series of facts about, the college's performance, their role in the local ecosystem, their partnerships, various partnerships with our chamber itself, and really what the unanimous consensus was that LMC is critical. LMC is critical to a skilled workforce, to retaining our young population here in Berrien County. Police, nurses, welders, electricians, you name it, they all happen at Lake Michigan College. So the two millages that are up, one hasn't been increased in 20 years. The other, they decided to cut in half. I think that shows they're listening to voters. They understand that things are tight. And you just get an incredible return on value through over $300 million in economic impact every year.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll explore that decision a little more because I know you partner quite a bit with Lake Michigan College. You've got the Berrien Talent Collaborative.
Yes.
You've got boot camps. You've got accelerators.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about that this hour here on the WSJM Morning Show. We're talking with Arthur Havlicek. He is the president and CEO of the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber. They're on the grow. We've got a lot to talk about with them, including on Niles as well. Got a new partnership there. Right here on the WSJM Morning Show. Right now, we've got sports with Dave Wolf. We'll be back on the video live stream with Arthur. Okay.
On the grow. I like
on
that.
The grow. You like that?
I do.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit. So more on Lake Michigan College. So again, not a difficult decision, but you wade into political waters this way. Is that dangerous?
I think it's our responsibility. So unlike most nonprofits, we're a 501c6, which gives us the ability to advocate, to lobby. And I view that as a responsibility of our organization to wade into certain issues as it relates to supporting business. We consider ourselves the sane center. We're never too far right, too far left. And, we're unapologetically pro-business and pro-business issues. Yeah. I like to say, no one goes to the Humane Society and says, I can't believe you're so pro-pet, right? Nobody does that.
Yeah.
Well, the Chamber of Commerce is comprised of members. Many of them are from the private sector. We are here to support a free market economy, private sector interests, and a thriving community. And so when there are issues that affect that, that's when we step into the gap.
Yeah, you partnered with Southwest Michigan with the realtors on this. What was that? Why the partnership?
Well, so our organizations actually came to the endorsements independently.
Okay.
The Realtors Association, led by Luke Jeffries, endorsed about a week or two before we did. And we talk with the realtors all the time. The housing market inextricably linked to the local economy. And inextricably linked to some of the work that Lake Michigan College does. Strong schools equal strong housing market. And so we decided to issue the endorsement together because we're stronger together.
Yeah. Okay. We're talking with Arthur Havlicek. He's the president and CEO of Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber. Talk a little bit more, if you wouldn't mind, about why having a strong community college in the community is good for business.
Sure. Well, the community colleges, unlike most 4 years, they really train some of the critical industries that our communities rely on every day. LMC restarted its police academy. They have multiple apprenticeships that power everything from manufacturing to healthcare positions at our local hospitals. And so, we have this incredible population of young talent coming up through our high schools and through the early middle college programs that they offer. Those folks are able to stay in our community, become highly skilled. They're able to graduate without crushing debt,
Yeah.
and often go into something that's around or above six figures, which is a different life trajectory. And all of that is retained here in our local economy. It's sustaining local businesses, local industry, our local schools, right up and down the line. So it is a critical piece of the local ecosystem.
And you've got a few partnerships, one of which is the Berrien Talent Collaborative. I want to talk about this at length in a moment, but can you explain what is the Berrien Talent Collaborative?
It is Michigan's first countywide youth apprenticeship program. I should say it's the first countywide youth apprenticeship program in the state of Michigan.
Okay. And so that trains young people,
Yes.
again, goes to your previous point, in the vocations that are needed here in this area.
It reaches down into high school, into juniors and seniors, even some sophomores, and it connects them with high-paying careers locally, trains them to the specifications of that position, and graduates them into a well-paying job here in our community.
God, that would be so cool to at least know that option is open to you when you're getting ready to go. Hang on one second. We'll be right back. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
Good chance of a sprinkle here or there, but otherwise pretty quiet. We top out around 58 this afternoon. Partly cloudy tonight. We drop to only 47 for the overnight low. And then for tomorrow, breezy and partly sunny. We will be a little bit warmer, highs near 60 with a slight chance of a rain shower. I'm WSBT 22 Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
7:17, it's the WSJM Morning Show, Tuesday, November 4th. It's Election Day. The polls are now officially open. And do your civic duty, please. Get out and vote. We're talking this morning with Arthur Havlicek. He is the president and CEO of the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber. A lot of different things happening with the chamber. We were talking on the video live stream a moment ago about the chamber's decision to come out and endorse the millage renewals for Lake Michigan College.
Yes.
And that wasn't a difficult decision for the chamber.
Unanimous.
Okay, unanimous. And so when you made that decision, when you announced the decision and the subsequent news coverage of it, did you get any blowback?
There's always a small group, no matter what the issue is, that's going to take the opposing view. But by and large, the reception has been, just like you said, it's an obvious decision. And for many in our community who have been touched positively by Lake Michigan College, they're going to walk into the polls today, or they're going to cast their absentee ballot supporting two very reasonable millage requests in order to keep that institution running at full capacity.
Yeah. What do you say to people who who might be concerned about the cost? There's been a lot of talk about the Axe My Tax,
Sure.
property taxes. People are gathering signatures for that at this point, trying to get rid of property taxes altogether and replace it with a system where Lansing, I guess, makes the decisions on money. But
scary concept, having been there.
We'll have to talk about that one as well. But what do you say to people who say, these millage requests, the bond requests, it's a lot?
So I will concede that it is a lot. We do need to be sensitive that taxpayers, that homeowners are paying more and more and more, it seems like. And, from our perspective, one of the things to lessen that burden is to broaden the base, right? To be able to tax more people at a lower rate, which is ultimately beneficial for everyone. That's how prosperity is generated. And in order to do that, we need to be an attractive community for all people, all walks of life. And one critical way you do that is by having a strong community college to train individuals for local positions, to attract industries who know that there's going to be a skilled workforce. And so I understand that the cost of maybe saying yes to some of these millages is going to be more than zero. It's not a lot, but it's more than zero. But I always say the mathematics of decline are much, much worse. We say no The LMC takes more than a 20% haircut, starts to contract some of the critical services that it provides. The community's prosperity starts to weaken. It becomes harder to attract businesses, harder to retain skilled workers. And we start to have that negative reinforcing cycle where communities are going to be forced to tax their existing residents more instead of attracting more residents to tax less.
Yeah. Okay. We're talking with Arthur Havlicek, President, CEO of Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber. Talk about some of the partnerships that the chamber has with LMC. We were talking a moment ago about the Berrien Talent Collaborative. Let's catch people up. What is that? What is the collaborative?
So the Berrien Talent Collaborative is Michigan's first countywide youth apprenticeship program. It's considered an employer-led collaborative where it's a partnership between our chamber, the Greater Niles Chamber, Berrien RESA, and Lake Michigan College. And what it does is it takes high school students, connects them with local employers, puts them through an apprenticeship. And when I say apprenticeship, most people are going to be thinking like a shop floor.
Yeah.
We need to dispel that notion. You can apprentice any job.
Yeah.
And that's part of what the Berrien Talent Collaborative is trying to get out into the world, is that any job can be apprenticed. Social media, marketing managers, you name it. Broadcasters can be apprenticed. And so, the chambers bring the employers to the table. Berrien RESA brings the high school students, and Lake Michigan College brings the training. It's a very, very innovative solution to be able to retain talent here as opposed to losing them to other communities with four-year institutions. And then we're unlikely to ever get them back. And so, one thing I'd want to emphasize is we didn't have to wait for any state mandates. Nothing from Lansing, nothing from DC came down to tell us that we needed to do this. Our chamber inherently listens to the businesses we represent. Lake Michigan College and Berrien RESA listen to the community, and it's that type of flexibility that a community college has over a four-year institution that makes it so critical and so responsive to our community's needs.
Yeah. How's the collaborative been going since its establishment?
Oh, it's been great. We were able to secure a significant state appropriation, kind of clawing down more than Berrien County's fair share, which is a good thing. We've been able to hire an incredible individual named Jay Bauer, who's an apprenticeship expert. He's been meeting with employers and expanding awareness of the program, participants in the program. And I think we're going to start seeing a really measurable impact here soon.
Okay. How do you measure the impact?
A number of students that go through the pipeline, number of employers signed up, and then eventually number of jobs either filled or retained full time.
Yeah. How are the employers that are participating in it? You've got a good number. You need more?
Well, the more the merrier.
Yeah.
But the reception has been overwhelmingly positive. If you can imagine, folks are like, "You mean you'll supply me with somebody who I can mold to the exact specifications of my
You'll give
position,
me workers? This is awesome."
and then they'll graduate, and I'll be able to keep them.
Yeah.
And pay them well to continue doing a great job for me.
Yeah.
Where's the downside? There isn't one.
Yeah. Okay. We're talking with Arthur Havlicek from Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber. Boot camps. What are they, and who are they for?
Yeah. So, along the lines of the Berrien Talent Collaborative, which is all about skill building, we're recognizing that more than the traditional four-year degrees, it's skill building that's going to be important in the new economy.
Like soft skills.
All kinds of skills.
Okay.
But soft skills is one that we've heard repeatedly. So employers say, well, if someone does show up, we can't always get them to maintain eye contact, shake a hand, show up on time.
Yeah, whether it's COVID or smartphones or anything else.
Yeah.
This generation doesn't look me in the eye. Honestly. And so it's difficult, especially if you think about that remote experience that so many had during COVID.
Well, right.
You didn't have that opportunity to keep your skills up of how to interact and how to act in public.
Right. There's if you think about it, about 8 years worth of students, 8 different grades, 4 in high school, 4 in college, that were taking classes all online for about 2 years. That has an effect on your interpersonal skills, and it's not a slight at any generation. That's just something that group of individuals faced. What the professional skills boot camp or soft skills boot camp does is it helps train folks to understand what some of those soft skills are when you walk into a workplace, which makes an individual just more job ready. It increases your likelihood of success in any role, and it increases your likelihood of success in even getting that role through the interview process.
Yeah. Well, so I'm sorry I focused on soft skills. What other skills do we do through the boot camps?
Some other common skills that we've been hearing would be sales, right? Sales is something of an old school art form.
Yeah.
But it's something that no matter what industry you're in, what business you're in, whether you're here at Midwest or you're at the chamber, you have a sales job to some extent. And so we partnered with LMC on a sales boot camp, and then a project management boot camp, which is its own set of competencies, right?
Yeah.
So again, the responsiveness of the community college to be able to work with the private sector, with business, with industry, to identify what are the skills we need immediately, what are the skills we need tomorrow, and then to craft and tailor a curriculum to those skills and fill that need and do it quickly without any mandates or additional appropriations. They've been able to do this just by being responsive, and they've done it within their means.
And we're not just talking about high school into college age either. We're talking about the full range.
Anybody. So most of the folks that have gone through these skills boot camps have actually been professionals that are already in the labor force. So employers, and the professional skills is a good example. Employers have signed up to this and said, you know what, we've got a couple of folks we'd like to send through. The feedback was so good. They said, hey, can I send more of my employees through it?
Yeah.
And it became so popular, we started holding professional skills boot camps every month.
That's great. How can employers, employees, anyone who's interested in these get more information about the boot camps that are offered?
Visit our website, smrchamber.com, or go to Lake Michigan College's website, and you'll be able to find those boot camps.
Okay. Again, we're talking with Arthur Havlicek, Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber. We're going to continue the conversation, talk a little bit about some of the accelerator programs that they work with the college on. We'll also talk about the Niles partnership that they have, that they've announced, making the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber one of the biggest business organizations in the state of Michigan.
Yes, sir.
Mitten.
That's right.
You have to get a bigger mitten now.
Yes.
All right. We'll have that in just a moment. We've got Bloomberg financial news coming up in just a moment. We'll have the latest from ABC for world and national news, and our local news preview and sports. It's all coming up right here.
What would you?
All right. Video live stream. Oh, we're still here. Is it cold in here?
No.
Are you cold?
No.
Okay.
I just sound like I have a cold.
You just didn't like the questions. I saw your body language was like,
my body language is a little.
no. You had folded arms. You were a little bit like, Ken, what are you going to ask?
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I dream of Jeannie. I'm going to come up with the answer.
This hour is going to be done.
God, someone my age knows that reference. How about that, Ken?
That was a great show. I love it. I'm pretty sure I only saw reruns, but
I definitely only saw reruns.
Whatever. It's Tuesday, November 4th. It's election day. Let's say quick good morning to hey, Dan Halroyd's there. Good morning, Dan. It's good to see you. Diane Mock is there. Bill, others. Thanks for joining us on the WSJM Morning Show. We've been talking with Arthur this morning a little bit about Lake Michigan College and the Chamber's decision to endorse the millage renewal requests. One's an operating millage request that's been in place for 50 years. It hasn't increased in the last couple of decades.
Since 2006, I believe.
Yeah, and so 20 years, and then the other millage. So that's the operating, and then the capital millage renewal is at half of what they had been previously. We touched on this topic a little bit. Axe My Tax. Have you taken a look at that?
I have. Yes.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah.
Basically, what would it do? Give us an objective. What would Axe My Tax do?
So the concept is to eliminate property taxes in the state, which would drastically change
residential, business, and any and all property taxes. Okay.
And that would drastically change how local government is funded, how essential services are funded, and it would put an uncomfortable, and this is my personal opinion, having worked in Lansing, an uncomfortable amount of power to Lansing to make some of those hyper-local decisions on our behalf. I think power is best at the most local level, gives us more ability to affect change in our community. Once it gets to Lansing, it gets harder. Once it gets to DC, it gets even harder than that. And what Axe My Tax would do is drastically change how taxes are levied in the state of Michigan. And I fear we would just see a shift on more either income tax, which to me is not a good thing for prosperity, and probably corporate income tax, which is also not a good thing for prosperity. So again, the mathematics of decline, we have to see, all right, can we lessen property taxes? Is that the message that we're hearing? Can we do that and change that system without throwing the entire thing away?
Yeah. Put your Lansing hat on for a moment. You think they're going to get the required signatures to get on the ballot in 2026? That's their goal.
Well, so that's the challenge with these ballot initiatives is the language is always appealing to voters, and there are no requirements on what the petition, the signature gatherers have to say. So they said, are you paying too much in property taxes? Do you want to see that be eliminated? And they don't go any further than that. And it's an attractive thing no matter who you are. I mean, you pay property taxes, I pay property taxes, it's a lot. But when you boil down, what those property taxes fund, and the fact that you can walk into your local unit of government and advocate for changes, it's a lot easier than going to Lansing and doing it. I think we need to tweak the system, not throw it out.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing your thoughts on that. So we'll see. I mean, they've got, what is it, 180 days? Is that the window? So it's a rolling 180-day window to gather a number of signatures. And I'm trying to remember.
It's a couple 100,000, I think.
That's more than that. Yeah. So they have to gather that number of signatures. They have to get validated, et cetera. But it's a 180-day rolling window. So once they think they've got that, then it goes to the state for certification. And then their target is to get it on the ballot in November 2026, the mid-year election. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully more information comes out on that. Let's see, what else do we have to talk about this morning? The Niles Partnership. So let's dive into that a bit. For those who haven't heard of what's happening with Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber and the activities that you've been doing in Niles, lay the scene for us.
Sure. So about just over a week ago, we announced in a press conference that we've entered into a formal partnership with the Greater Niles Chamber of Commerce, which is an independent chamber of commerce that's been serving the Greater Niles area for over 100 years. And really what this partnership does is it's a couple things. We've talked about, our organization now becoming one of the largest chamber networks in the state of Michigan, which does sound like a vanity metric. I call it a vanity metric. Not to pat ourselves on the back, because I'd rather measure the engagement. You could have 2,000 members, but if none of them are engaged, you don't have much of a membership.
Yeah.
You could have 20 members, and if they're all engaged, you've got a great membership, right? So it's all about that level of engagement. But what the voice of about 1,000 members does is it gives us more weight in conversations in Lansing, in our local units of government, in Washington, D.C., when we are advocating on issues on behalf of local businesses, local communities. It allows Berrien County to punch well above its weight.
Hold that thought. We'll be right back.
Sure.
In just a moment on WSJM.
WSJM.
And good morning and welcome again to the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg, 733. Apologize for the we're whipsawing around on the video live stream. We're talking about a lot of different issues with Arthur Havlicek. He's the president and CEO of the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber. Again, if you're missing the video live stream, you're missing a lot of good conversation. We will be back to that in just a moment. First off, though, we have to get a quick weather forecast and then a check of news from the WSJM newsroom. Partly sunny skies expected today, a 20% chance of showers and a high around 58. The winds are going to be out of the southwest light. Tonight's forecast, partly cloudy, low 47, winds out of the south, gusting up to 25 miles per hour. We're going to keep the wind tomorrow. Wednesday's forecast, partly sunny, a slim chance of showers, a high around 60 degrees. It's going to be a nice day. Maybe you get out to the golf course, although be prepared for some wind. It's going to take a hold of your ball from the southwest. Winds are going to be 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusting up to 35 miles per hour. Thursday shaping up to be a really nice day, mostly sunny. Don't see a chance of rain in the forecast there, and a high of 56. More news from our WSJM newsroom coming up after this update from ABC.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Sherry Preston. Former Vice President Dick Cheney has died. Here's ABC White House correspondent Karen Travers.
Dick Cheney was called the force behind President George W. Bush, a notoriously silent but powerful VP who became an outspoken defender of the Bush administration and an ardent critic of President Obama.
When they've made all the decisions they've had, close Guantanamo, end the high-value detainee program, and so forth. I think those are all mistakes.
He was beloved by conservatives and vilified by the left.
Some on the left referring to him as Darth Vader as he helped plan and carry out the U.S. invasion of Iraq. Dick Cheney was born in Nebraska but moved to Wyoming, where he served in Congress. He was also defense secretary under George H.W. Bush and served as Gerald Ford's chief of staff. He died of complications from pneumonia and cardiac disease at 84. This is ABC News.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
7:36, the WSJM Morning Show continues. We have more news coming from our WSJM Newsroom. It is Election Day in Southwest Michigan. Voters have several key local proposals to decide. Lake Michigan College is seeking 2 millage renewals, one of them at half its current rate. St. Joseph and Eau Claire Public Schools are asking voters for a bond proposal approval. Several townships also have some ballot questions. Plus, there are city races being decided in St. Joseph, Benton Harbor, South Haven, Hartford, and Gobles. Polls are open currently. They open until 8 o'clock this evening. Voters must show a photo ID or sign an affidavit to cast a ballot. We'll have election results as soon as they're available, posted to WSJM.com, and we'll give you a full recap tomorrow morning right here on the WSJM Morning Show. Other news we're following, the St. Joseph Township Board has rejected plans for a mixed-use development at the Nye's Apple Barn property on Niles Avenue. At Monday's meeting, trustees approved a special use permit for the property owner, John Nye, but denied a planned unit development request, basically halting the entire proposal for now. We'll talk a little bit more about that. That's coming up. Also, Feeding America West Michigan, joining forces with United Way of Southwest Michigan and the Berrien Community Foundation for a large-scale food drive. It's coming up this weekend. So we'll tell you about those stories and more. It's all coming up just after 8 o'clock right here on the WSJM Morning Show. 7:37, our continuing a conversation with Arthur Havlicek, Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber, coming up on the video live stream. Sports is up next after a look at state news.
The Michigan News.
All right, back on the video live stream. We were talking about Dodgers and Blue Jays. How'd you feel about that? Dodgers, once again, World Series champions.
Once again, yes. 7 games is always a spectacle.
Yeah,
so
you like
for
that.
the pure entertainment value,
Yeah.
and quite the win.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great series, and everyone thought walking in that the Dodgers were going to sweep this thing. It was done. It was done before the first game was played, and then Toronto had something to say about that.
That's right.
And then all of a sudden, it looked like Toronto was going to be the next series champion. But no.
America.
But yeah. Canada. Anyway, but congratulations to the Dodgers. Do you have a favorite baseball team?
Cubbies.
You're a Cubby guy?
Oh, yeah.
All right, fine.
Oh, yeah.
Detroit? You ever think about changing sides, going to Detroit?
It's easy to root for Detroit. Those two teams are not mutually exclusive to root for by any stretch.
All right. I'm sorry.
I'm from Chicago, though, so
yeah, I know. You're tough like that.
I can rep.
White Sox?
No.
Okay. Why does Chicago have 2 teams? Why don't you give up one of those teams?
No.
All right. Anyway, because all right. Anyway, Niles partnership. We were talking about this on the video live stream, where the Southwest Michigan Chamber has now entered a partnership. What does that partnership mean? What does it look like? I mean, we talked about the sheer size that gives you a huge voice.
Yes.
In Michigan.
Yes.
And nationally, probably as well when you go to the federal level.
Absolutely. So 1,000 members, roughly. does. It gives us an incredible voice, weight, leverage when we're advocating on behalf of our community, on behalf of our businesses. And what this partnership is, it's we've created this structure at the regional chamber, which will allow for local chambers or more local or community specific chambers to integrate while retaining a lot of local control and authority and autonomy. So the Greater Niles Chambers, it retains its own board of directors. We have a job posting out for a Niles Chamber director that the regional chamber will hire and dedicate to that footprint. And what that does is it allows that community's leadership to set the strategic plan of that community and execute that plan locally, while we are just ensuring regional alignment. So it's more of a bottom-up than a top-down approach. It's a model that I think works best. And we're just excited, not just for the increased voice in the advocacy space, but what our board and what the Greater Niles Chamber Board did was also historic in that it united North Berrien and South Berrien for the first time in our county's history. It's really never been done.
Yeah, talk a little bit more about that, the north-south divide.
Yeah, so if anybody can find the actual demarcation of this divide, I'll give you whatever's in my wallet. It's not going to be very much. But historically in our county, there has been this North County, South County dynamic forever.
Yeah.
And Niles in particular is often function more like an honorary member, a suburb of South Bend, which it sort of is. Very, shares the labor shed and everything else, but fundamentally it's still part of Michigan, right? It's on this side of the border. And so when it looks to compete, it has to compete by Michigan's rules, not Indiana's rules. And so if it wants an increased voice in Lansing, it looked north to us. We decided, we had built enough trust in that community to kind of bridge that geographic divide. We were able to bridge now some organizational boundaries, and we're much, much stronger together. So we're very excited about what this partnership means. And there's some exciting growth in the Greater Niles community already, just since our engagement down there.
Like what?
Ooh.
you have something to announce this morning?
There are a couple developments that are in the works there. Some of them are major developments. We've already seen, name brands like Aldi are moving into the township. The city's downtown is becoming more and more robust and really quite vibrant and energetic. Niles is a very unique downtown compared to some of the other downtowns in Berrien County. But there's some growth in the outlying areas in the townships that I think are gonna absolutely be transformational for that community and for Berrien County as a whole.
Are you able to get more specific as of yet?
I will eventually.
Okay.
And I'll give you the scoop.
Okay. Is that going to be this morning?
Not quite.
All right, fine. We're talking with Arthur Havlicek. He's the CEO, president, and secret keeper from the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber. No, that's all right. That's good. It's good. It's encouraging to hear that there are these additional developments growing. Are we talking about like a residential, commercial?
Both.
Oh.
Both. But the one I'm particularly thinking of is a pretty significant commercial development.
Okay. Is it going to be a Stargate? Can we get a Stargate? That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
Data centers. Are data centers on a chamber's radar?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not something we deal with, very directly. We've been pretty active on the advocacy front, advocating for some of the policy changes that make Michigan competitive enough to be able to pursue some of those data centers, as opposed to Indiana, which again plays by a completely different set of rules. Has been very successful in securing data centers. 3 miles, 4 miles over the state line. So we've been very active on the advocacy front, and there have been a couple potential data centers that have been looking at Berrien County, and I don't blame them. Fresh water, lots of energy.
Yeah, a lot of competitive advantage we have outside of some of the policy issues from the state level. So makes sense, and then we just need to make it happen. So
That's right.
7:44 WSJM Morning Show continues. Weather forecast and back with our Moody on the Market update.
Partly sunny skies today, slight chance of a sprinkle here or there, but otherwise pretty quiet. We top out around 58 this afternoon. Partly cloudy tonight. We drop to only 47 for the overnight low. And then for tomorrow, breezy and partly sunny. We will be a little bit warmer, highs near 60 with a slight chance of a rain shower. I'm WSBT 22 Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
I blame social media. 7:44. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning and welcome again. I'm Ken Lundberg. We appreciate you joining us here on WSJM. We know you have a choice of where to get your content, including news content, and that you make the choice to be here and be informed. We appreciate that. This morning, our guest is Arthur Havlicek. He is the president and CEO of the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber. And let's make this part of our Moody on the Market update. Our Moody on the Market update is brought to you this morning, this hour, by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles, just like the
right.
Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber now.
That's right.
St. Joseph, Niles, and beyond. And so, Arthur, as part of our Moody on the Market update this morning, anything exciting you want to talk about? You want to talk a little bit more about the Chamber's decision to endorse the millage renewals for Lake Michigan College for those who might not have been listening earlier this hour?
Sure. So, today being election day, very important to get out and vote. And, we hope the Chamber of Commerce, we hope that you'll join business leaders across the county in supporting the Lake Michigan College millage renewals, the 2 millage renewals that they have on the ballot. LMC is a critical part of the local ecosystem, workforce development, critical training that they provide to industry and business. And we're very proud to support them. They have 2 very reasonable requests on the ballot. They're an incredible community partner and an incredible asset. So we're encouraging folks to get out to the polls and vote yes.
Yeah, I think about some of the things you laid out earlier, and essentially, if it's good for the community, it's good for business. If it's and business is supporting this, the chamber is representing business interests. So again, if people want more information on the chamber and what you're advocating for, your strategy, your vision for the region, where can they go?
www.smrchamber.com.
Okay. Arthur Havlicek will continue this conversation in just a moment. Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber. The Moody on the Market update brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. Back with more in just a moment. We're continuing on the video live stream.
Rich Brandon, Chair calls.
All right, back on the video live stream. What are the major challenges that the chamber's facing or advocating for or against right now?
That the chamber is advocating for or against?
Yeah.
So, we wrapped up a pretty contentious budget cycle in the state of Michigan.
I'd say pretty contentious. You think about Axe My Tax and you think about, okay, let's let Lansing make some more decisions on budgets. They couldn't even get a regular budget through this year.
Need we say more, right? And so, we were advocating for multiple things throughout that budget process, most of which prevailed. There were some cuts to the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, which was, I think, to be expected. Thankfully, some of the proposed cuts to some of the workforce training programs that the state provides weren't as bad as we originally anticipated. So all in all, things are good there. As we head into next year, it's going to be a gubernatorial election cycle. So we're going to be watching the gubernatorial candidates and some of their policies very closely. But we're going to be bringing several of them to town for meetings with us so that we can help educate them on Southwest Michigan's needs. Because Southwest Michigan is different than other parts of the state, right? You've got, folks who spend their time around mid-Michigan or Lansing or Grand Rapids, and they never have to think about what it's like to compete with another state every single day. They don't see it firsthand like we do. And Lansing from time to time will come up with some policies or some incentive programs that require things like, well, you have to hire 100% Michigan employees. It's easy if you live in Midland.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you live in Bridgman, odds are you're going to be hiring a couple people from Indiana,
Sure.
depending on what the job is. So we try to make sure that we're advocating for the unique needs of Berrien, Cass, and Van Buren County. We'll be doing that with the gubernatorial candidates here coming up, inviting many of them to town, taking them on tours. And then, just your more tools for the private sector to be able to invest, reinvest, and grow. That's really, it sounds simple, but there are things, everything from housing to infrastructure in our state, and those two things are intertwined. But we need to rethink how we do things to make it easier to deploy capital and see the kind of growth that we all hope to see.
Yeah. One of the sayings I like is don't mistake activity for progress.
Yeah, confuse motion with progress.
Don't
It's one of my
confuse.
favorites.
Yeah, and we saw neither activity nor progress
Correct.
on a lot of legislative.
But we were confused.
and that was 2025.
Yeah.
2026 is going to be another silly season where we have elections. You just mentioned the gubernatorial. Is anything going to get done in Lansing?
I mean, it was a historically slow year this year in terms of public acts.
Yeah. Going to be even slower next year?
It very well could be, because the gubernatorial politics always come into play. Whoever's the prevailing candidates on either side have their agendas, and the legislature will often preemptively adopt, those agendas. And so we'll see. It's one of the things where, for us, we need to get the business, the people's business done. That's part of, what we say is the sane center. We'll set the politics aside for state government, and particularly local government. It's really about the people's business, not about politics. And that's what we got to focus on.
Nora says, hi, Dada.
Aw,
yeah.
Hi, Nora.
We'll be
Hi,
right
sweetie.
back. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
From the Pat Moody Studios, this is WSJM FM Benton Harbor, St. Joseph, a product of Midwest Family Marketing and Media. Proudly serving our community. The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
It's 7:51. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. I'm Ken Lundberg. Thank you so much for joining us. Our guest this morning is Arthur Havlicek, Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber. It's a pleasure having you here in studio, Arthur. And one of the things I always encourage our guests to do is make news. But in the absence of that, at least be cute. And you brought in one of your children, said hi, Dada,
Hi, Dada.
for the video live stream.
Yes.
So thank you very much.
Well, God, my pleasure.
Thank you, Gabby.
The light of my life. My girls are the light of my life. Absolutely.
You've got two children.
Two girls. Yes.
Two girls.
Yes.
Ages again?
7 months and just over 2 years.
And they were for Halloween this year.
Tinkerbell, and then
a skunk.
The little one kind of grew out of the skunk costume, but yeah, that was the design.
It grew out of?
She's big for a 7-month-old.
Wow.
I mean,
what do you just have a skunk costume in storage that you bring
Don't
out?
you?
Yeah. Doesn't everybody?
Doesn't everybody?
That's great. Okay. All right. One thing we haven't talked about yet, regards to the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber, are the accelerators.
Yes.
We haven't talked about the accelerators. For those who are unindoctrinated, what is an accelerator program, and who do you partner with, and what are they for?
Yeah, so this is another great partnership with Lake Michigan College. Our community's had a community leadership program for a number of years, and actually it started as a partnership between the chamber and the college all the way back in the 90s. We were able to reinvigorate this a couple years ago. It's called Leadership Accelerator, which is this foundational leadership development program. It's the premier leadership program in the region. And what we do is we bring, our members, which are public, private, nonprofit sector folks, to the table. We create this cohort of emerging leaders, and LMC brings their expertise with the curriculum. It's a phenomenal partnership. We graduated another 40 new leaders into the community just this past July. There's an appetite and a need for more leadership development, right? Every decision we talk about, everything we've talked about today requires leadership. And there are different elements of leadership. So Leadership Accelerator is this foundational element. This year, we were able to come out with a second program called Management Accelerator, which is really, what are the leadership components when it comes to managing other people. So if Leadership Accelerator is sort of that 101 level, this is a 201 level. Instead of a 13-week session, which is Leadership Accelerator, this is a 3-session deep dive on management principles. And I've gone through it myself. And in fact, this Thursday is our third and final session. The curriculum has been absolutely fantastic. We partnered with not only the college, but Kim Kavala, who's been the curriculum lead for it. And we partner with Purpose Partners for Leadership Accelerator. And, these are just really dynamic programs that local individuals, you can watch YouTube videos, but it doesn't give you that local flavor to leadership and understand how you can apply these skills in your community for the benefit of your workplace and your community. That's what we're doing. We wouldn't be able to do it without Lake Michigan College. And we have a couple more programs in the works, actually, that we're excited to come out with in the coming months.
Okay. Again, for more information on any of these programs, the website?
smrchamber.com.
smrchamber.com. Arthur Havlicek, the president and CEO for Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber. Thanks again for joining us this morning. We've got a few more minutes here. We talk a lot about housing, and one of the things that I wanted to raise with you is we've seen a lot of developments come through in recent months, and a lot of them have been using the tax increment financing to make the economics make more sense.
Sure.
With those, I mean, how are we doing to address one of the primary needs in Berrien County around housing? Are you encouraged by what you see?
So I am encouraged, and I'll say, in my 5.5 going on 6 years as the president of the chamber, we're seeing more proposed developments, more developers looking to deploy capital in our community than at any point since I've been here, which is a very encouraging sign. And that's despite, the headwinds of, I should say the economics of the housing market not being really in folks' favor. And so in order to make some of the economics work, you really do need tools like tax increment financing. The state changed how it does its brownfields now to be able to close that gap and make housing affordable to build and affordable for the people who are going to buy it. So, it's a numbers game. Not every development that's proposed is going to make it across the finish line. Organizations like ours are there to help try to remove barriers and increase the odds of those crossing the finish line. But we're going to see probably hundreds of new units throughout Berrien County by this time next year, which I think is a very, very encouraging sign, and something that, back to the property tax argument, something that our community desperately needs if we're going to lessen the burden on existing residents and increase prosperity for everybody.
Yeah. So basically build a broader tax base so
Correct.
that the impact on the individual isn't as much as it would need to be with the shrinking population that we've seen in Southwest
Precisely.
Michigan.
We're asking a dwindling population to give more. We need to be intentional about growing, and then we don't have to ask that larger tax base for as much.
With the increased amount of developments that we're seeing, including approved developments and groundbreakings, et cetera, do you think there is going to be a reversal in the trend next time we look at the population for Southwest Michigan?
I'm hopeful. Between some of the developments that are happening, the fact that we're seeing more full-time residents convert. I mean, Berrien County is known for its second home ownership.
Yep.
We're seeing a lot of those be converted to full-time residents. And then, our chamber's been running a population growth pilot in partnership with the state of Michigan that's had phenomenal success. We've got over 900 applicants in the pipeline to move to Southwest Michigan, Berrien, Cass, and Van Buren. And so there's no shortage of demand. And people who are familiar with Southwest Michigan can't believe that folks like us get to live here every day. And part of our population growth pilot, Discover Southwest Michigan, is simply to say, well, you can, and here's how we'll help you. So I'm hopeful that we're going to start seeing that trajectory turn, and we have a lot more folks talking about it and doing the right things and sort of that intentionality to grow.
Okay, one more. So we've been talking with Arthur Havlicek, Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber. Last word on what you'd like to see with LMC today.
Well, so the regional chamber is very, very proud to endorse Lake Michigan College in both of their millage renewals that are on the ballot today. So we hope that anybody listening will find a way to make it to the polls before they close at 8 p.m. and vote yes on both LMC millages. It's good for our economy. It's good for our residents. It's good for Southwest Michigan.
Okay. Again, we've been visiting with Arthur Havlicek from the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber, the president and CEO there. If you missed any part of this, you can go back and watch the video archive. We'll have it up in just a few moments on our WSJM Smart app. It'll be on Facebook. It'll be on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us, Arthur. We appreciate it. And go Cubbies, right?
Go Cubs, go.
Okay. Well, there's always next year. There's always next year. All right, we've got the latest world and national news from ABC right now. Quick check of the forecast, though. Partly sunny skies, a 20% chance of showers today, so you might get some rainfall, a high around 58 degrees. Good morning. It's 9 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
ABC News. I'm Sherry Preston. Former Vice President Dick Cheney has